Hey guys, and welcome to my vlog. My name is Erin and I'm a writer. I'm working on several fantasy pieces, so I started this world building vlog series to go over some of the things that I've had to think about while creating my fantasy world. No leaving. Why? Why? Fine. No cat for this video then. So today's topic is going to be military and law enforcement. This is going to be a three-parter that is also going to include crime and war. So military and law enforcement is how you're going to be keeping order in your fantasy world. Now, whether this involves border guards, city watches, standing armies, etc., you're probably going to have at least one of these present. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to call the collective group order keepers, unless I'm talking about a specific one. First things first, who are your order keepers beholden to? Who's giving the orders and who's paying them? You also want to know under what circumstances would they disobey the people who are controlling them. This is where the corruption in your world, or lack of it, is going to become very apparent. Because you're going to see the divide between order keepers that are beholden to authority and order keepers that are beholden to the general populace. When conflict arises, are the order keepers protecting those in power, or are they protecting the people? That answer is probably going to give you a pretty good idea of how order keepers in general are viewed. You want to know, are they respected? Are they feared? Do people go out of their way to avoid them? Is this a career that people are eager to get involved in? And is participation in some level of it mandatory? You'll find a lot of countries that are at war or have recently been at war or are anticipating being at war will have a compulsory military service. This is not uncommon, and if this is the situation in your fantasy world, then it wouldn't be out of place to have people as a compulsory part of the military. Within the context of the order keepers themselves, how is discipline handled? If the people are breaking the rules, who's in charge of punishing them and managing them? And do order keepers have any specific privileges or liberties that is not available to the general populace? And within the structure of however your order keepers are set up, what is the hierarchy? How do people move within it? Are there any restrictions to specific groups being able to rise within this hierarchy? You also have the option of having some elite groups within your order keepers. Some good examples of these would be the Knights of the Round Table from Arthurian legend, Jedi Knights, or the Kyoshi Warriors from Avatar: The Last Airbender. These are highly specialized groups within the context of your order keepers, and they are usually the position where people strive to get to if they are able to enter those ranks. A lot of these examples deal with magic on some level, so if you do have magic in your world, figure out how that impacts the setup of the order keepers and influences their reach. If your fantasy world is in active conflict, do you have a standing army that is readily available? Alternatively, you can have a reserve militia where they receive some basic training and otherwise just go about their lives. And you don't necessarily have to have any sort of military. It's totally fine if you want to have a pacifist nation. It really depends on what you have set up, because if you do have a pacifist nation and war erupts, they're probably a little bit screwed, unless they are extremely prepared. Now, if you're considering having a city watch, these are going to be most common within the largest city, specifically the royal capital. And you're also probably going to have some sort of guards for the people in power. If your character is one of those people in power or is one of the guards, what is the dynamic between them? And are there any circumstances in which the guards would have authority over the people that they are protecting? If you're going to include travel or have any established trade routes, then you may want to consider the equivalent of like a highway patrol or for-hire guards to protect caravans. If your characters are traveling, is there any group that is keeping them safe on their way from point A to point B? If your characters are going to be crossing borders with other nations, consider what the relationship between those two nations are and how that might impact the crossing. A good way to figure some of this out is just to look at how different groups of order keepers are in other countries, or even other fantasy worlds. It'll give you lots of ideas, look up the different varieties, and figure out what best serves your story. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope that was helpful to get you started. We will have 2 more videos, War and Crime, coming up. That'll go a little more in depth into some of these things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment, and all of my social media links are in the description, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!